Chris. Let us stand for a word of opening prayer and remain standing and pledge the flag. So Chris, will you lead us in this prayer?
May we bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you at the end of this year. And even though we're looking at some tough times right now, we don't want to forget the blessings that you've given us, Lord. Over the years, you've blessed this county in a lot of ways. And there's a lot of disasters that could have happened that could have made things tremendously a lot worse in this county. So, Lord, we just want to give you the praise and the glory for everything that you have done and everything that you're going to continue to do. So now, Lord, as we come here today and we discuss probably many issues, deals with concerning our county, may we do it in a very peaceful and respectful manner. And Lord, help us to remember the one thing that we all do have in common is we do have a love for this county, and we truly do want to do what's best for this county. So Lord, give this court the wisdom that it needs to make the choices that it must make. And Lord, we ask you for your mercy and your goodness to be shown upon this county. We ask it in your precious and holy name. Amen.
Amen. Let us pledge the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May be seated. Article 5 under old business, Resolution A 131201, dealing with the Floyd County Clerk's 2014 budget.
I don't think they make copies
Is Donna making copies of that budget? We'll wait just a few moments and she should have these.
Judge,
Yes,
if
Rick.
you don't care if I...
Yes, no, go right ahead.
The only thing I do want to say is that I did look at a budget the last time that I came here to court, and I presented what I felt that I could do to try to help, you know, in this difficult situation that we're in. And what I presented was something that I felt that I would be closer about being able to honor and be able to continue doing. The budget that's presented here today, again, does take in all of the health insurance and all of the retirement. And that's what this budget consists of. I don't know in my office, it's based totally upon the economy as to what I can do and what I can't do. So, I mean, this is a budget that consists of that. And but I hope that at some point, when I offered to do that, I did it based upon the fact that I was trying my best to help the county, and I do want to help the county in any way that I can. But I hope at some point that it can be reverted back if the county gets back on good standings and stuff like that, because I do feel that we are all are county employees. My employees, sheriff's employees, fiscal court employees. I think we all are county employees.
Okay. Donna.
She's working on the copy. You maybe go on to something else and come back to it
We'll go ahead.
if they want to see it.
Chris, you want to talk about that resolution B?
Yeah. Why don't you go ahead,
Well,
Benny, yeah.
Resolution B is based upon Resolution A. So
I understand they go
Yeah.
hand in hand. I just didn't know if you wanted to explain it.
So, basically, Resolution B is whatever the new budget that's being proposed consists of.
It establishes a maximum amount for deputy clerk.
That's correct.
And what is that under the new resolution?
I don't have that resolution before me.
Okay.
David
It's
has.
993,130.42.
Of course, with that new resolution, it includes the retirement and health insurance and all that.
Basically, everything pertaining to employees.
Yeah.
Just like they'll have that copy. For you.
Yeah. Well, keep it.
Now they have it in hand, David, if you want to mention or Chris, do you need to
Chris,
say anything further?
no, Chris does.
I've seen it. I went over Saturday with David. I've seen everything. What I said earlier was just one comment I had towards the budget.
Okay. Whereas Chris Wall, Floyd County Clerk, has presented an amended budget to include payment of health and retirement benefits for Floyd County Clerk's office for 2014.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Magistrate Goebel, second by Magistrate Owens. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Magistrate John Goble,
4.
Magistrate Hattie Owens,
Four.
Magistrate Jerem, Master Ronnie Akins.
Chris, I just want to say it's a tough job, and I know it, but we appreciate you working with us.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move to Resolution B, 131202. This is the 2014 maximum amount for deputy clerks of $993,130.42.
Motion.
Second. Motion by Magistrate Owens, seconded by Magistrate Akers. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Master John Goble,
4.
Master Hattie Owens,
4.
Master Warren Jerem,
4.
Master Ronnie Akers.
4. Resolution C, 131203. This is the approval of Floyd County Sheriff's Department 2014 budget.
I can say something, is that not my budget, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me guess what you've got here. I'll be paying over half of what my budget is. Over 500,000. I've not had time to go over this, just handed it to me. Just now skipped over it. Just handed it to me about 5 minutes ago. There's 192,000. Here's a sin tax, 100,000 ABC, which I never get. Okay, here is employee share retirement, $115,000, $115,300 that I pay in retirement. Employees working compensation, $35,000. Employees pay their health insurance is $160,000. And travel and training, $11,000. Got me paying utilities, $20,000. Paying my telephone bill, $15,000. Paying the liability insurance, $70,000. Paying the auditor, $43,800. Paying my bond, $3,000. And computer program for tax bills, $16,000. I don't know if you understand, when I've got to borrow money, starting out with zero amount, and borrow money, how in this world do you think that I can pay that? And January the 10th, when I disperse the tax money out, I don't get any of that. It all goes back to excess fees for December collection. I don't get any tax money until January the 10th, February the 10th, where I collect in January. And then I get March, then I get April. April 15th, I have to turn my taxes over to the clerk, and I collect no more taxes. I live on serving papers and vehicle inspection, and the state pays for 9 of them over to the Justice Center, but they don't pay their insurance or their retirement, or they don't buy their uniforms, or they don't give them holiday pay, they don't pay their vacation pay. Now, if you all think you all vote for me to do this, I am forced to lay off all these workers here, and you all can look me in the eye and tell them. And I'm telling you, I cannot pay this. I do not have the funds. Now, here's my workers are sitting here, road daddies and justice centers. Now, if you want to tell them, go ahead and tell them. I do not have the funds to pay this. I presented you a budget. If you vote it down, if you want to vote for this one, they're all going to have to be laid off. I'm in the whole complete force. Night shift, no more dispatching, nothing from 8 to 4 in the office collecting taxes. Thank you.
one wants anyone to be laid off, but that's not what it's about. You know, it's about we've come to a stop sign in the road. It has to be dealt with. Board?
One more thing, Judge, I'm gonna say, I can cut back more and turn over more excess fees, which I have this time, which I told you I would last year. And I will have more excess fees to turn over too. The way the law of crime is now, our children out there and their grandchildren, and no law enforcement in this county, the way crimes are going in their schools. It's like we had to go to Betsy Lane School last week. A 7-year-old kid got out and left the school. We found it hid under a porch down the street. And problems like that we run into in the schools all the time. Taking care of ball games, taking care of every morning I've got somebody at Duff School, Betsy Lane School, and every afternoon to help the school buses get out on and off the road.
I understand that, Sheriff. That is a plus, without question. Everything that the deputies do is admirable, because they put their life on the line every single minute. So we appreciate that.
Judge, we can't hear you back here.
I said we appreciate the fact that deputies put their life on the line every single day, every minute. Any first responders, regardless, do the same thing. But it's not about us wanting to lay people off or to create a situation that requires that. It's when you run out of money, you run out of money. So I am asking at this time that the court respond.
It's got down here $12,000 for an office lease. What's that for?
I can't hear you.
It says it's got down here $12,000 for an office space lease. Where's that at?
He didn't do
On our original
that.
budget?
It's not.
It's not in there. It's on this one.
I know that. But that, what he was talking about the 197,000 there on the first page.
I'm asking to vote on the original budget. I don't agree with
Or
that.
192,000 on the first page. You can see that,
I think that's a good
192,000 on
I have
the
no
line.
sign.
All those like, lines 12, 28, 29.
To make this budget up, I don't know.
30.
I've not signed it, and I don't approve.
Line 44, line 47, line 48, all those add up to 192, so it's basically just a cross rate. But you're not asking him to pay it, he's just showing it, so he can turn around for the school system, and say, here's what we're paying now. So you get a different tax rate. It's the same thing Whitman County and Green County does. Right. You're adding in,
I have a copy.
you're adding in 192 to the 1.4, which takes you up to 1.6. It's like this report's even more
But
than
did you sit down with him and try to work something out?
I tried to, but when you talk to somebody and they say they don't want to talk to you, then it doesn't.
No, he come to the office just 2 minutes ago, handed it to me, and I said, I have my budget. I haven't seen that budget, and I don't have time to look at it. Don't want the budget. I want the court to vote on the original budget that I turned in. If they expect somebody to go over a budget in 5 minutes when I come up here,
Go over it right now.
no wonder this fiscal court is out of shape.
Now, let's
We got ours
respond
after
to
you
that.
got yours. We turned in budget 2 weeks ago.
I don't see how in the world you could vote on a budget if David just handed
that is unreal. There is no way possible.
Roger about that.
That's what we'll talk about right now. That's what.
I couldn't pay with all my employees laid off.
David, on the old budget, it was $1.4 million, 1.451. This is 1.6.
It's up.
Is that, you're allowing more money, for how come it would be cuts?
I don't know where the extra money's coming from.
Where's that extra income coming in?
You're adding extra expenses to the budget.
I understand that, but you gotta have some income to cover it.
Well, that's what I'm saying, look at, if you wanna look back at their original budget.
We don't have it anymore.
Of course.
Here's the copy.
I tried to read the budget, you had a copy, you need a copy of it.
Get her to make some coffee.
Yeah, man, better.
Do you have a copy of when you had the last meeting? That was the meeting, that's what he's talking about. The last meeting.
It's showing $150,000 on line 11. But, so then in the new budget, I separated it, I put sin tax. You go down to line 21, it's showing $100,000, $25,000 before. Then if you go up to line 11, that's $192,000. And that 192 is basically lines 12, 28, 29, 39, 41, and 42 is expenditures added together. So if you add that expenditure back into the budget, they're allowed to designate the school.
Judge, we can't hear what he's saying when he's talking to our office.
I understand that, but still we have to have something coming in.
Well, the fiscal's already paying it anyway.
I understand we are, but he can't, if he can't pay it through his office, he has to have an income.
Hey, Judge,
Yes.
can you give him a speaker over there? Nobody can hear what he's saying.
Get that little hand.
That may be the intention, but nobody can hear it.
This is a copy of the old one.
And I had one back at when I was. The same thing we just did with Chris's office. Chris's office, you got those same expenses that were sitting in the office. Go to Chris's office, but we increased his revenue from the fiscal court to offset our costs.
We're actually gonna be paying what you,
Exactly,
they're just gonna show it in their budget.
exactly,
Go ahead, so they
But we
can
pay it
hear.
anyway.
exactly.
What was that?
Where they put in here like electricity and all that stuff. That stuff the fiscal court will pay anyway, will usually pays, but they just want to put it in there a line item thing showing that, like it's coming out of your office, but it's not, fiscal court actually pays that.
If it's on our budget, we're responsible to pay it.
He increased, that's where he's showing the increase of revenue. So your budget was 1.451.
Correct.
$1,451,700. Well, he increased income on this one's $1.6 million, but that's money from the fiscal court that will be paying your electric bill,
Why is it on our
telephones
budget?
and stuff like
Why
that.
would he put it on our budget?
Work liability, and workers' comp and stuff, huh?
Why would he put it on our budget? It should be on the fiscal court's budget.
It's put on my budget, I'm reliable to pay.
But he's showing the receipts
He's
from the
showing the-
fiscal court plus the expenditure from your office. So it's a wash, it's zeroes itself out. That's what he's
So
doing.
why change it, Dick?
Well, you have to ask him, I don't know, but they're paying it for you still. They're willing to pay it for you.
It's never been like that.
They've always paid it.
It's never been on the sheriff's office.
I agree with that. It's not been on the budget, but they're still willing to pay it. It's not they're saying they won't.
Now, last
When
year,
it's
when
on
we
the
did the
budget,
budgets in spring, they
I'll
tried to
have to-
separate offices, didn't they? They added the electric, or telephones to the county attorney's office, the clerk's office, and everybody got their share in the last budget.
And it'd be the same this way.
And fiscal court actually pays it and things, but it shows in their budgets too.
Because the line item on the fiscal court budget where they put money that they pay for the sheriff's office, that's where that should be.
Chris, it shows the same thing.
Yeah.
Where does it show the fiscal court's gonna give us all that money at?
Line 11.
192,000.
Is that the alcohol tax money?
No, the alcohol tax, sin tax is line 21.
So what does the $192,000 cover?
Expense line items 12, 28, 29,
Well, kind of slow
30.
down, I can't get it that quick. What was it?
Turn to the third page and we'll go by them line item by line item. if you want.
Thank you.
Line 12,
Okay,
line 28,
okay,
line 29,
okay.
line 30, line
What's the
39,
lease of office space?
line 41, and line 42.
Wait, David, what number 30, what's the lease of office space?
Showing $1,000 a month for lease of office space.
I'm not required to, the fiscal court has to furnish the sheriff an office. They're required to do that. I don't have to pay for no office.
He's not paying for it.
That's the law.
There again, you're not expending money there.
What?
You're not actually expending money for that.
But he says 20,000 for a lease of an office.
And he says 12.
We're not allowed to pay that.
I'm not allowed to pay no for leasing no office. The court has to furnish the sheriff an office.
Forty, 44, 46,
After 30, David, what is it?
44, 46, 47, 48.
And what does those numbers add up to you just gave me?
187,000. And I got $5,000 extra.
Okay, that's not including insurance or retirement.
That's correct.
We're willing to accept all those except the one for the rent for the office space because we're not allowed to pay that out of fees of the sheriff's office.
Are any of these salaries reimbursed through AOC or anything?
All of the justice center is reimbursed.
How many is it?
9. No fringe benefits, just, in fact, we pay them more than what AOC reimburses us.
It's hard to get people to work $8.50 an hour. Did you all do that?
They work for 8.5 an hour,
$9 an hour.
and that's 7.5 hours a day. They don't even get 8 hours a day.
Part-time.
I guarantee if you look at all county salaries or wages, we have got the most underpaid people sitting right here in front of you than anybody, any office in this courthouse. We've got 33 employees. I think, I'm not picking on you, Chris, but what was your salary? What was your salary cap?
Whatever they figured it out.
Yeah, I know.
It was,
And how many employees do you have? I'm not picking on you.
Yeah, I know. I
But
definitely pay them a lot more than $9 now.
you're exactly right. Our men work for nothing and risk their life every day. We cannot afford insurance and retirement. We just can't do it unless we let them go. And CLEF is also reimbursed. For all certified road officers, CLEF is reimbursed by the state also.
Do you have that on your showing for that's reimbursed on the budget?
I took the revenue, I really didn't change the revenue side because I really didn't know what the revenue was.
We've only got, what is it, like 8 or 9 officers that are not reimbursed.
How many?
8 or 9 road officers that are not reimbursed.
I've got 4 part-times that you don't pay insurance on, and they only work 24 hours a week. One works maybe, evidence person, she probably works maybe,
25 hours a month.
she might, some months work 20 hours, some months she might work 15. Evidence. I've got 4 part-time. You're such one of them, Bob, she works 24 hours a week. But you don't get retirement or insurance.
But those line items that David just discussed, that's no problem, except for the office space. Because that's not allowed.
Phone, I think they're required to keep me a phone.
Well, they're gonna give you the money to pay it. That's okay. For example, Mike, send it to me. How much do you make an hour? Could you work without insurance?
No way.
Would you quit?
I'd have to.
Okay, just sit there. No. All these men have to work second jobs to live.
You mean Social Security? Social Security's for 53 days. 53 days. And retirement. I just took the share, you can take the gross
Partner local
salaries.
government told me that I wasn't forced to pay retirement if I couldn't. The fiscal court would have to pay it and come after the fiscal court on me.
It was a mandated item, and they wouldn't come after the sheriff's office, they would come to the fiscal court for the money anyway.
It's not included in the budget.
Tom Dobson is the one that said it, it is true.
If it's not included in the budget, she's true.
They know the sheriff's office doesn't have the money.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
earlier we spoke of the savings to the court just for the insurance alone. Still, court should have told me what we would be at this, technically, and cost of it. Well, we're talking about insurance, give you more action.
Let's stick to the budget.
Sure. You said you could pay your health insurance, right?
You said you would pay your health insurance. Okay.
I figured over the weekend, there's no way I can without all that hiking before I stop. If you want them laid off,
The only thing, everybody's gonna have to take some cuts, and we can't take it out.
like I said, but it tell you how to play hiking before I stop.
We can sit here and argue for all day, but, you know, everybody's gonna have to give some.
What did you cut?
We've been
You
working
know,
on it.
ain't going out.
Not yet, not yet, but I work with 3 men, you know.
I didn't dig this hole, you know.
I didn't dig
Want
it
me to
either.
fill it up for you?
I didn't dig it either. But you heard DLG here the other day, if we don't come up with something, they're gonna take over, and then it's not gonna be a pretty sight.
You're asking me to lay off, shut my office
I'm not
down.
asking you to do anything, I'm just asking you to work with us.
Just collect taxes.
I'm just asking you to work with
We'll
us.
save money in excess fees.
I told you I would help. I was saving money and cut every penny this year, cut back excess fees, retire now. This year, to give you more this year, to turn over to the fiscal court, which I told you I would, and I'm going to.
Well, these men need a raise. I mean, they just don't.
These men risk their life, they need a raise, you still get laid off, insurance,
We have no say over that, you said that.
bad the economy is.
That's because that's all the money we can afford now.
I mean, I understand that, but I'm just saying though, you can't put that in our lap saying that because we always just, for 16 years or more, since you've been here, we've always done everything we could do for
Right,
the
I
sheriff's
agree
department.
with you.
What, approve our budget every year? What
We've
have you
we've
done?
approved your
What
budget.
has the fiscal court done for the sheriff?
That's technically all we could do,
Okay,
is approve
so-
your budget. You all
That's
set
not-
your budget and
That's not
spend,
from the sheriff's office.
and you spend your money the way you see fit. You know, we have no say over how you spend it. We always do by, what we had to do by law is set your budget. Approve your budget.
And we work within the means of our budget.
That's right, and you all done a good job. You got a whole lot of good people working for you, but. you
Judge,
still
I have
here.
a question. I asked a question. Annie said something kind of struck me. Said everybody has to take a cut. And I understand it. Are y'all taking a cut on your salary? Are y'all, as magistrates, are y'all going to cut your salary? You're asking these people to cut theirs.
We can't cut our salaries.
You can't. Why?
By law, they tried that before.
So you can't forfeit your salary for 6 months?
I'm not sitting here for my health.
No, I'm
You know,
saying.
just like they're not sitting here for their health.
You're talking about sitting them home. I'm talking about just taking a 6 months pay.
If
Chris
we-
volunteered to pay his employees for 6 months.
If we have walked out here like they have done in the past and said, we're shutting the road department down,
No,
everybody would have been saying,
I'm not
okay,
talking about
what
your
me, go on.
employees. I'm
But
not
we got
talking about your employees. I'm
tough,
talking about you all personally.
we've got tough decisions to have to come up with.
I'm talking
And, you know, we're not gonna
about
make everybody happy.
I sit here and done a little bit of math. 100,000 if you got 5 for 6 months. If you just take a 6 month stay, you can save 100,000.
Actually, the law won't allow them, believe it or not, Steve.
They can't cut their salary.
Legally, they can't.
They tried before, and actually, the state wouldn't allow them to do it.
They can give it back.
I understand the thought.
Can they give it back into the county?
Anybody can give their money up, and we
Would they be willing to do that?
I'm not, I'll be the first to say I
Okay,
will not.
that's all I want
All
to
right?
know. That's what I want.
All right.
No, Hattie, we don't want to give our jobs up either.
Give you what?
We don't wanna have to give our jobs up either, none of us
Well,
say.
none of us do. And that's why we've been so hard trying to work with everybody to get everything going. They're we looked at it. Back in March, when we set in the budgets and stuff for everybody. Now, we told everybody then they had to live within the budget, which you all have, but, they're just gonna have to be cuts. Or the state's coming. That's, and when they come, we're all shut down. Everybody.
We're gonna be shut down anyway.
Well, you're gonna have a lot of people, but, we've not finalized. We're still hunting for money. We're still trying to meet that threshold that we're gonna have to come up with a balanced budget and stuff. There will probably be layoffs. We don't know yet. We're still working on it day by day. And this is just something that your all's budget has to be done by January 1st.
January 15th.
January 15th. But,
You just said that it'll have to be cut, so that means I'll have to lay off all my employees, I just tell the tax officer.
you told me the other day that you could pay your health insurance.
I will try to help in any way I can, but I cannot, there's no way I would have to cut, if 10 employees, it cost me $8,000 a month for their insurance. I don't know what the retirement would cost, there's no way that I can pay both of those without cutting the whole department.
It's not, say 20%. 20% of $1,000.
Yes, I'd be willing to try to help
Wages.
you. I would cut which I would hate to do it, to cut my whole night shift off. And my dispatchers can turn over excess things. Still would have to lay off, like I said, lay off to pay that much insurance for the rest of it. You try to keep some of my road deputies on the day shift. But you wouldn't have any dispatchers at night, I wouldn't have, we just have to call 911 for emergency.
The only there's $100,000 difference in your budget salaries and his budget salaries. According to part-time and full-time, if you add them together, in your budget and his budget, there's only $100,000 difference.
That's not necessarily my budget. I basically took Greenup
Well, I
County's
mean-
budget and Whitley County's budget.
If you look at payroll alone, there's like $300,000 difference. You know how many employees would go in $300,000? Deputies alone is almost cut to half. It was $450 or $63, I can't see. He cut it to $250. It's cut in half. That's half of the deputies gone.
Okay, you said this didn't have to be done, I was under the impression that it had to be done by January 1.
It's 50.
Okay. Do you all have a problem sitting down with David, trying to come up with something that way you know what he's figuring, he knows what you're all figuring, and bring back to us?
The only thing, I can do it myself. If you guys vote that you want me to change it, Sheriff will have to lay off and I'll change it. I don't need David's help. It's just plain as simple as that. We've got to lay these men off. It's the only way we can pay it.
We've tried to meet you halfway, Pam, and, we can't just.
I mean, if you look at the figures, it's half payroll. These men, road officers working for $11 an hour. The court bearers for $8.50 an hour.
But what I'm looking at, the budget that you proposed was 1.4.
Right, he added in. All of you
We came
said-
up with, to $1.6 million, so he had to have.
Yeah, he's making it look real good.
That's what I'm saying, so that's all we've got to go by.
He added what he pays. Look at the salaries. He cut it in half to pay for insurance or retirement. That's half of these people, over half probably, gone. And there's only 9 road officers. And the 9 court bearers. And the law says we have to provide them or the state comes in just like you guys and takes over at the Justice Center. And they bring their own men. These men are out of work. They bring their own when the state comes in and takes them. Yet it looks better, but Hattie, I promise you, the salary's cut in half. The wages are cut in half. I'm sure if everybody in this county goes down to $8 and $11 an hour, the fiscal court would probably have the money. Why don't everybody go down to these men's wages?
Well, these figures, David, were based on the assumptions of how counties with the same population, the same group of, was it Marina?
And Whitley County.
And Whitley. That were proposed by DLG. We can table or set aside. There is some time there, but we need some working together with our treasurer and all that. We depend on him and this court for us to have a realistic figure of what is actually on the table.
Chris,
Currently in a budget with a realistic figure.
Yes.
you said you sat down with David to try to work something out, right?
This Saturday, yes.
Is there any way that you all are willing to sit down with David and try to figure it out?
Figure what out?
How to come up with something?
What kind of revenues can we get?
Well, I don't know, but,
There is none, honey. There is none.
I borrowed money, I paid the payroll in January, and February the 10th, before I get any tax money. Paid in April 15th, my tax money comes, goes to the
we'll,
clerk.
they will.
Well, I get revenue from
Daddy,
it.
I promise you, if we could pay it, we would.
Well, we paid it as long as we could, so we can't do it now.
My fund.
You know, they used to do that. It used to be paid by the fee offices. Insurance and retirement. Before Paul Hunt Thompson came in here. Paul Hunt Thompson's one changed it and started paying.
That's not true. My husband was deputy sheriff at Henry Hill, and they paid the insurance.
Amen.
The fiscal court?
Yes, sir.
I don't know about that, but
I do
I know
know.
when Jackie Owens was here and John M. Stumbo and them, the fiscal court didn't pay the health insurance on the fee offices. They were responsible to pay for their own. I can go back and pull the records on it. I've got
When
it.
I was deputy sheriff, they paid my insurance.
Well, somebody paid it, but you didn't have, you know, there was only, what, 8 deputy sheriffs at that time. But,
And he made just as much then as they make today.
You know, the fact of the matter, folks, is pretty simple when you don't have the funds to operate. I mean, we'd still be paying right on it if we had funding, I'm sure. Because that's not an issue. The issue is that we have no funds to do this.
Ask me where I'm gonna get the funding. I don't know, I'm just not there. I've been there 15 years, I know how it works.
been borrowing money quite a bit, John, to offset our for everybody. And we were fortunate to be able to pay back this last 500 we borrowed, and now we can't borrow it again.
What got you into this mess? When you owe what man said over here over $1 million, and then you're saying who got you in this mess?
It doesn't have, we're not talking about.
I can't hear you. I couldn't hear you.
I think I made a statement the other day when you asked me, and I said expenses. Everything has gone up. You can't operate up here when you've got a budget down here.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
simple.
what you're asking us, that's what the court's asking us to do.
I'm saying this court can't operate.
Neither can the sheriff's office if we
Understand that.
change the budget. We don't want to be in that situation.
They got it.
The office has always been run right, the audit's always been correct.
And these men has always been underpaid.
Okay, what is the court's view on this at this time? Are you wanting to table once again and see if there can be something worked or what?
I'd ask it not to be tabled, I asked it to be voted on.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'd like to ask the court, I'm a citizen of Floyd County, if I could stand and speak on this situation.
Sorry, there is, on this special meeting, we have no citizens' comments. We're actually dealing with the budget and the issues resolving the budget and salary caps.
I'll be glad to add $192,000 on that Dave wants to give to, in revenue and put all the expenses of 12, 28, 29, 39, 41, 42, plus the 5,000 extra on the budget.
$62,000 decrease.
That's one. That was 16.
That's what we got now.
Let's do something on this.
They would have to go to 2,500. Change it to that. What?
Nobody will say that.
No, our deductibles is $5. You have to raise the deductibles to decrease the premium. Before the premium was $125, that's $890. This one was $6 million. Take them in, there's so many changes, we make changes to them.
Our insurance is paid by the month, right?
Yeah.
We don't have to come up with $180,000 one month. It's paid monthly, right? So instead of saying we're coming up with 180 right now, we're coming up with 12,000 for the month, at the end of the month. If you can raise more revenue, fine, you have money. Okay? Then we'll have to make a
There's ways to raise revenue. These other counties is showing it's free. I didn't touch the revenue. Other than fiscal courts
I understand. I could.
a month, that's what our insurance rate
But you said to change the deductible.
Okay, what is the resolution C 13-1203, approval of the Floyd County Sheriff's Department 2014 budget?
We vote on the over and then
Actually, we're voting on the budget for the sheriff to pay the health and retirement benefits.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Said that the resolution C is budget that includes the health and retirement benefits paid by the sheriff's department.
No, I did not make that budget.
Be at the will of the court if you wish to vote on the budget submitted by the sheriff. This is
I mean, you know, Chris, he stepped in and done his part. You know,
yes.
the last time, I mean, I got 4 boys that works for me, and the last time, that was coming, they got laid off. And we parked all of our vehicles, we took all the cell phones, and, you know, we're trying to help.
Warren,
And
ask
I'm gonna
Chris-
make the motion for the new budget. I have to.
Ask Chris if he does not have the fees to pay his.
There is a world of difference. We are fee officers, but there is a world of difference between my office and the sheriff's office. I'll admit that, there's no question about it. I've got more sources of revenue to draw from than what they do.
And
So
if it-
it's hard to compare mine to theirs, you know, in making these choices and making these decisions.
And if it comes down to cutting our boys' insurance or laying them off, then I'll make a motion to cut my boys' insurance before I lay them off, send them home.
But Warren, you're saying fee offices, like Chris just said, his is entirely different from ours.
$10 million budget versus one.
I mean, he's trying to help.
Because
Yeah.
if we had the money, we would try to help.
He's trying to help.
We have a motion by Magistrate Gerald. Chris, you need to say anything else?
No.
Motion by Magistrate Gerald.
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate Akers. Resolution C, 13-1203.
Is there any way that you all will get with David, agree to get with David?
We can still amend the budget after you pass it. But by a motion and a second, you're setting the cap at $1.6 million. And with them paying their health and retirement and insurance, is basically what you said.
I mean, you guys act like we're just not wanting to do it. It's just not there.
We're not acting that way.
I mean,
at
we
all.
might get enough money, you know, things pick up, and we can go back to paying him. I mean, I hope we can, but if it comes down to laying my boys off for paying their insurance, then I'll vote cutting their insurance too. Before I send them home.
If it comes down to what?
I'd cut my boys' insurance too if it meant sending them home.
What do you mean you cut it?
They'd either have to pay their own insurance or, you know, out of their own if they got it.
$8 an hour, you think they can pay their insurance?
Clerk will call the
$11 an
roll.
hour, you think they can afford insurance?
We're looking to afford cash. Very long insurance.
Master, did you want to go? Master, Daddy.
Which budget you took, get ready to vote on, my budget or your budget? No, I did not speak that budget.
Master, Jerry. Master, Ronnie, 84.
Resolution D.
Appreciate it.
13-1204.
Well, on the first day, looks like. That made it,
Was this figure accurate?
On the 1.6 it is, yeah.
Resolution D, 13-1204, with the 2014 salary cap at the budget that
Hey,
was.
Judge, we can't hear nothing back here.
Talking into this as loud as I can talk. Approval with the 2014 salary cap for the sheriff, which is
$953.
$953,000.
How much more is that from last year?
I don't know, this year's including all their benefits as well, so that's why it increased.
It's not getting around like 700,000.
Probably.
Motion by
Jim.
Magistrate Goble,
Second.
seconded by Magistrate Akers. Clerk will call the roll for vote.
Rowland,
Four.
Commissioner Hattie Owens,
Four.
Commissioner Jeremy, Commissioner Ronnie Akins.
Four. Okay, Article 6, under new business, Resolution A, transfers 131205.
I'm not transferring it to, transferring it away out of those accounts.
We gotta have this money to pay these other,
Well, the 911 is gonna be short this year, where the 911 board used to pay the dispatching service, and now that's falling on the fiscal court. So we didn't have that in our budget, so that's why I'm transferring budget money over to 911, and then the road, I'm transferring 80,000 over into the road. Or requesting the transfer.
Motion by Magistrate Goebel,
Second.
second by Magistrate Owens. Clerk will call the roll for a vote.
Commissioner John Goble,
Four.
Commissioner Hattie Owens,
Four.
Commissioner Jeremy, Commissioner Ronnie Akins.
Resolution B 131206 is a contractor payment.
have y'all had a chance to look at those, the roads, the pictures?
Yes, that's what these were.
So I'm talking to the masters.
I don't think they heard you wrong.
Have y'all had a chance to look at the,
None of my district.
have you had one?
No.
I'm not looking at any of this out.
The judge and the road foreman went to each job. They looked at each one of them. They took pictures and all.
The 23rd, that's last Monday. Yeah. And the ones in my district, it's down, I don't know who done them, but I done two of them on the 11th. My road crew.
Which one are we talking about, Ron?
In Little Mud.
Huh?
Little Mud, that's the only road you done in my district, wasn't it?
Little Mud was only one on that bill line.
Okay.
The other one was up in the holler out, probably you know where it's at there. You took it up there and changed out some pipe and stuff. In behind that man's house.
Spruce pine.
I never took you up there.
Or
I never took you up there.
do what?
I never took you up there.
Me and you and the judge and Mike went up there.
No.
Give him the name of the place, Judge.
Spruce
Spruce
pine.
pine, I know
Spruce
what
pine.
spruce pine is.
John, up at that very head, John Kidd.
That one was not on the bill. Spruce Pine was not. That right there is the bill that was turned in that was supposedly lost here. And it was okay by Mike when it was first turned in. And I've got 2 other contractors that was involved in this getting ready to sue me over this.
Spurlock is,
Before I was in Main Street.
That's the biggest deal, I think. I think that's the biggest deal.
Bill Company, Nashville, up there, you do, and around the area, on the 6-foot culvert washed out.
Did Mike okay all these bills the other day?
Yes, he did.
Where's he at?
Yes.
Most of these bills was done before I was even manager.
Man. Yes.
Huh?
Very good stuff.
That's a hard job, Dean. Yeah.
Now I ask.
You okay all these bills already?
Those bills that's in there, I went and looked at them with the judge last Monday. With the judge and Harpo and Hoot. And Hoot took pictures. And I went out there and they showed me what he had them done. Judge said this, what he had them done, they showed me what it was. And, but, 12 of those 14 jobs is, like I told Judge, that's the first time I'd seen them. But the judge said that he okayed it and he told Harpo to do the job.
They're
There's 2
all on
jobs on
the
there
county.
that I know about.
They're all on the county.
They're all, well, yeah, what y'all showed me was all county road work, and the judge said that he told you to do it.
David, did you see him before the work was done?
Back when the jobs was being done, not 12 of them. 2 of them I was aware of because Beaver Valley Road there where that slip came in on it, and I had, and Harpo went up there with the chip and hammer and chipped that out and all that off, because it was blocking going into the spouse abuse center. And the other one was the church.
I know one that's in my district.
That was the one that was up there at Hueysville where the church and the creek was stopped. We had to have a long boom excavator. Now, I didn't see the job. Of course, you seen what was in there. You probably know more about that than I did, but I got a call on it. The church wanted to get it out and they would cut it up. And then after about a week or maybe 2 weeks, was it, Harpo? They called and said they couldn't get nobody to cut it up for them, so and the judge called me about that, and the judge called Harpo and go back up there and cut it up and haul it off.
Well, that one was going back up. It was such a blockage in the creek, and we tried it with our excavator and could not get it.
Now, they had to get boats out in there.
It had to be that long, but it was backing water up on Smacky Bottom. I mean, it caused.
Yeah, it was a huge blockage of.
That's what David was talking about, the chainsaw. That's right, the chainsaw cost some money, but you had a man out in a boat there trying to cut that stuff up. It's a whole lot different being out there in the water and you just standing right
It's
there.
far out there, even a long boom wouldn't reach most of it. You had to take a boat out there and hook a chain and stuff to it. Now those 2, Beaver Valley and that church. But now as far as seeing those other 12 jobs, I saw them on the 23rd of December. But the judge said he authorized it.
My only thing
Were
is, we've asked.
they needed, Mike, were these that you saw?
Well, I mean, I didn't see the job. I mean, you're the judge. I seen the dipping where it was dipped at, and I seen pipe where they was put in, and old pipe laying off to the side up there in where was it, Conley Ford. I seen that, but I didn't see the work prior.
David, how are our funds?
What we said, we got probably about 80,000 more than I said we'd carry over, so.
that number be?
250-ish, you know, so I'm saying we're gonna carry it over 330. You got, the computer was messed up, so they didn't write the third payroll in December, but you'll actually have 3 in January. So it's about the price it is long. You're gonna have, insurance and retirement due. Then I guess we'll still have to pay the first one for Chris and John, I guess. Because they don't have any money to pay the first one, so it's still gonna be about 160, 170. We'll get tax dollars, tax bills on the 10th, usually from the sheriff's department.
I know I've asked for these bills, well, not particularly these bills, other bills, for what, 2 years now? I've been told there was no bill. If we didn't, if there's no bills, we didn't know it.
Well, these bills aren't included in our budget.
List of bills, where they were at.
It's Tommy Ford, Reed Branch, Open Ford, Hatch Road, Ice Plant Road, Rosto. That one I know was done. Spurlock, District 3.
And Buffalo was the church with it, okay?
Yeah.
Church and property.
Beaver Valley. Ned's Fork. Arkansas. Little Mud. Denwood. Has a PO been issued for this, Judge?
No.
I really think that one thing that you folks don't know, that we had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and that was before all this attention came to this. And in that meeting, the judge said that he had all that work done, knowing we didn't have the money to pay for it at the time. Said the work was needed, but he knew we couldn't afford it, we didn't have money to pay it when he had it done. And those bills are from 2010.
That was the bill that was turned in, Keith, that got lost.
I understand, and you was there, you heard him say it the same as I did, that he knew we didn't have the money to pay you when he had the work done.
But we agreed to go ahead and work.
I understand.
And other contractors did the same thing.
I understand, in my opinion, though, that's not appropriate, that's like spending money you ain't got. It's like running up your credit card bill, knowing you can't pay it when the bill comes.
But I think a lot of the FEMA stuff, you know, the work was done before the money was put in place.
But none of this work's FEMA money, right?
Pardon?
None of this work was FEMA work.
No.
You know, I'm not saying the work wasn't needed, I don't know, I wasn't there. But even if you need the work, if you don't have the money to pay for the service, you don't do it.
Does the judge have the right for everyday operations of the fiscal court?
He does, and he has some obligations not to spend money we don't have. And he has an obligation to see that we have a balanced budget, we live within that budget.
So these projects were needed. I'm looking at Mr. Stumble in the back of the room. Buses couldn't run on some of these roads to pick school children up. Roads in several areas were impassable. The roads had fallen completely away.
But I mean, don't know where some of these are, but our road department have handled a lot of these.
Very possible. Our road department was very busy at the time too. We were just trying to get back on track, period. And in this case, when I mentioned several to Mike about the long boom, Mr. Castle was agreeable to purchase a long boom to rid these problems. And it had to have that in about 4 of these areas.
That's like the one up at Joey Bowles, it was estimated about 70-some thousand. I think we done, what, 31,000? Whole lot difference.
Maybe this is something we need to call DLG and ask them if it's legal for us to do this. Since they're gonna be in here, I mean, we need to know before we actually spend our money.
We have advised the auditors, we shouldn't do this because it's back before.
What the auditors said.
The auditor stood right here and told us that.
Motion to table.
Motion to table Resolution B by Magistrate Goble.
Second.
Second by Magistrate Akers. Clerk will call the roll for a vote.
Magistrate John Goble,
4.
Magistrate Hattie Owens,
For,
Magistrate Lauren Gerald, 4. Magistrate Ronnie Akers, 4.
can we get an opinion on that?
I call.
Motion to adjourn. Second. Clerk will call the roll.
When do my forces start paying the insurance stuff? First of February or January?
It's, I mean, his budget's basically what you pass is for January, but like we just talked about a minute ago, him and Chris don't have the money there, so.
Since this was tabled, when will we hear about it again?
I
He
think
will
it would be
contact
best for the fiscal
DLG.
court to pay,
Who will contact?
David.
January's bill.
Can that not be done by conference call so we can listen to it?
Possibly. Yes, John, this coming,
We just talked about that, Sheriff, where you left it, where you don't have any money. You know, you go to zero, Chris does too, that the fiscal court should pay for January's, retirement health insurance, but you don't have any money to start. So you just send that, and the retirement. It's basically falling back.
roll call for adjournment.
Before we adjourn.
Motion, roll call for adjournment.
Magistrate Hattie Owens, Magistrate Lauren Gerald, Magistrate Ronnie Akers, 4.
Mike.